let's get going, Paul. So, Paul, do you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I saw your comments on the pull request. So I guess I need to take a look at that, making it one array rather than two, I think you're saying.
Yeah, you're passing it two arrays. It seems to be assigning the last array that you're passing.
Yeah.
That collection should be one array of roles, not two different arrays of different roles.
Yeah.
So
So
I think you just need to probably just remove the internal right and left bracket, and then you're good.
Yeah. Okay.
The other thing I was wondering, if you wanted to, is there an action, a controller test where after we confirm that the registration is completed, where we could add a confirmation that the company contact is both an admin as well as a contact? The reason I suggest that is just something to look at, because we're actually not testing the new behavior you've introduced. With that factory, all we're doing is making sure that an admin also has the company contact role as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I had to fix up.
If you could, I didn't even put it in the comment. I'm sorry, Paul, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying I had to fix up some of the RSpec and the controller tests because, you know, that they needed to create it with both roles.
Yeah.
It stopped working until I changed that. So I thought, well, look, that's provides a test, I guess, of some sort, but it is correctly creating the company contact or person with that administration rights.
Yeah, I ran it through the UI, the whole process. Yeah. By the way, do you know how to see the email confirmations coming to you?
Yes, I use Gmail.
And so you know how to start. You know how to start the delayed job process to process the delayed mails.
No, I just register, and then so maybe you better explain it.
Yeah. Okay. So why don't I do my quick update, and then we'll go look at that real quickly.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So again, that's my one recommendation. If you can put a controller test in to confirm the new person, the new company has both roles. And to be honest, if it's a hell of a lot of work, don't bother it. But it would be nice to test that behavior. For myself, I've been working on Met Plus a little bit. I completed a PR to convert us to Postgres, and so that's in there. And back reviewing stories this morning. And Hinesh has another story in there that actually we want to make sure works, because we probably will show that to the client. We have a client meeting today at 12:45 my time. That's about 5 hours from now. And we'll see how that goes. And on the Swedish dog project, we had a client meeting on Friday, which went very well. And we got our new sprint set out and planned for, and so we're good to go. And I think that's pretty much it for me. So let me show you real quickly what I mean by that, Paul.
Okay.
Statement. I can find where I'm at there. It's not that one. It's not that. Yeah, so actually what I actually added to the project setup wiki, because there's I don't think people know about this. I don't think anybody knows. So to actually process the emails and have them sent out, see them sent out, you have to actually run this process in another job. It's just start it and walk away from it. And this basically allows the delayed job gem to look at a table in a database where the delayed jobs are posted. And periodically, I think it might be every 15 seconds, something like that. If it sees a new job and it's been delayed enough. Our delay on email by default is 10 seconds. If it's been delayed enough, then it'll process the job, which means it'll send up the email.
Okay.
And what we tend to get is, geez, I hope I guess I deleted those already, huh? Well, I don't know if you saw these, but when you were testing, you saw these come through. Oh, you did. So you're already okay then. If you saw all three of these.
I just waited. And eventually they show up.
Was that in C9?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe C9 then is starting that process for you. Because if I'm running locally, I have to start this process here, so the delay job wakes up and does that. So you're already good then. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a problem then. So you saw the whole process, soup to nuts. That's great.
Yeah. Now the other thing I've been working on is the confirmations. The double confirmation. So doing some aspects for testing that.
What do you mean by double confirmation?
When you register as a job seeker.
Oh, right.
Now, and then it sets up a token. So you go and click on the link, and the URL submits a token to the controller. And it confirms you if it matches the one that is stored on the database. So I've been doing some aspects for that, and we're having a bit of a struggle. I can create a user using Factory Girl, and then set the token. But when I try and invoke the controller method, it gets a strange error. I haven't been able to make much headway with it. Maybe I need to read a bit more about the way Devise works and the way you test it. It does give you some information about setting up test helpers and things like that. And I think I've followed the instructions, but it doesn't seem to work for me.
Yeah, I thought that would be a tricky story actually because of that. Because we don't invoke Devise directly, as you know. We inherit from that controller, and we override the method, and then it calls super for Devise for its method. But how to actually set up the test for that to occur? You've got to set it up as a controller test. And did you do that? Did you try that? If that seemed to work?
Yeah, maybe I can show you if I just.
Yeah.
What is it? I'll just share this. Can you see my aspect there?
Yes.
I'm going to up the sizing of it.
No, I can see it fine. It's okay.
Okay. So you can see this is one thing that they advise you to do. So this request end. And also in Rails helper, set up this aspect, configure, do. So
I see. Yeah,
that's all good. And I create a user using Factory Girl, and then use this send confirmation instructions that actually puts the token into that user object. I'm then picking up the token, and then I'm trying to invoke the controller method, passing the token as if I'm putting in the URL to confirm the email, and then expecting it to render the login template. Maybe I might have added one there to expect the flash message as well.
Mm-hmm.
But just getting this, I haven't been successful in getting this to work. So.
Oh, that test works?
Okay. No, it doesn't. No,
oh, it does not. Oh, I see.
This is, I think, the last time I ran it. Coming with uninitialized constant controller macros name error.
Is that coming out of your helper method there?
I would think so. I really don't know enough to know.
I thought you saw if that Rails helper RB there, is that?
Yeah.
Where is that from? Is that something you created, or is that?
That's I looked that up in the devise documentation for controller tests. And I said that, to put this in.
Was that Rails helper file there already?
Yes, it was.
Oh, it was. Okay.
It's got other things in it.
I don't even remember that. Let me see. Where's that from? Where is that located? Because I don't see in the helpers directory.
It's under spec.
Oh, spec. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, of course. So that was there before. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Let's see. And it's doing device views available spec. So you added that last line there. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, this was somebody's recommendation from Stack Overflow. The original one wasn't like that. But I've tried several versions. None of them seem to work.
So that's controller Mac uses some module defined in a file somewhere. Is it a devise set a module? So do you need the devise : in front of it?
Oh, sorry. In front of what?
In front of controller macros, just like devise.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
No, possibly.
I don't know what controller macros are, but if it's a devise module, maybe. I think you need. Yeah. See if that helps.
Macros.
Is it still? What's it saying now?
Uninitialized.
Oh, it still can't. Still can't find it. Yeah. So the question is, where is controller macros? Where's that coming from? Do you have the original Stack Overflow reference for that?
Or what did I do? I think here's one, how to test controllers with Rails 3 and 4 and RSpec. And RSpec configure. I think this was one version of it. Configure include devise test controller helpers type equals control.
Which I think
if you're on device. Go on.
I think we already had that first line, config.include, right?
Yeah, I think so.
But then they're saying you can also write to controller's macro, which contains the following. Okay, so this guy's created his own module called controller macro. So he created this. And yeah, so you're referencing something that doesn't exist in our environment because we don't have that module defined. He created controller macros.rb containing this module.
No, that was just to set up these methods for login admin. login user.
Yeah. So in the controller specs file above there, where you added a second line about bringing in controller macros, is that, does he have that?
No, he doesn't. I got that from SpecFlow. You know, I sort of Googled the error that I was getting, and somebody recommended it. But
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
whatever it doesn't fix the problem.
So where does he reference controller macros in his test files? He must include that module somewhere.
Is it the? Well, it was something to do with this request environment devise mappings.
No, I think that's separate. Well, I mean, that's where he's, let's see. Can you scroll down a little bit where he's talking about Rails helper support device RB business? Yeah. Okay, so now he's including.
Oh, that's the config extend.
Yeah, so he's referencing controller macros, and controller macros, he's defining that module in controller macros.rb in the support environment. So it's being found because he's defined that file that contains that module,
Oh,
controller macros.
Yeah.
Whereas you don't have that.
Create this. No.
Yeah.
So that's probably the problem I've got.
Can we go back and look at your RSpec file again?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Your RSpec file? Your specific RSpec? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so you got this set up as a controller, which is right. So your set of device mapping, I suppose that maps to basically the user model in the users table. Some magic going on there that I'm not. Yeah.
Because it's bypassing the router.
Yes.
So
Okay. Okay. Yep.
Bias.
I see. Yep. You're creating just a regular user, not a job seeker, but just a regular user right now. When we create a user, do we actually validate the user as being a valid user yet? What's that factory look for, the user factory? What does it look like?
The user factory, I think it does. It's got the email in there. Just like you need for confirmation.
So if you look at spec factories,
which is
no, it'd be under spec. The factory would be under spec directory.
Factory check, yeah.
Yep.
And users.
And then. Yeah. So one of the.
It actually starts off confirmed at time.
Yeah, so that's one of the problems that you want a semi-finished, a partial user, right? Who has a.
Why I set the send the confirmation instructions because that puts the token into that object, user object.
Yeah, but I'm wondering
before it was nil. So I've got a user with a token in there.
Yeah, so let me look at the actual method that you're trying to test.
So that's this is the shadow. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're doing okay. So we're calling super, which is the show method of devise, and it's coming back and it's doing its thing. So what I'm wondering is if you call super, so devise is looking at this user, and if it sees a user that's already got a password and a password confirmation and a confirmation timestamp, it may not be doing what we want. What we want it to do, you know what I mean? It needs to see a user that's partially created and is not confirmed and doesn't even have a password yet, because where we're supposed to go after this, does it work? We're supposed to go to a form where the user enters their password, right, and verifies it, and then they're finally confirmed.
So what I need, maybe need to create a new partial user.
Yeah, maybe a factory like that makes sense.
Factory.
So we present something to devise what we expect it needs to see, which is, what do we know about this user so far? Not a lot. We know its email and its name.
Yeah.
And then
we could model on this user, but without the confirm that.
yeah, I would suggest another factory in this file. What do we call it? We call it a user applicant or something like that.
So just create a new factory here.
Yeah, I would.
User applicant.
Yeah,
so just take this out.
I would definitely take out the last three attributes.
And then I just use that.
That factory, yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't need this. Send confirmation instructions.
Well, you need to set up the test, right? So that's what you're doing there, and you're simulating there a user who clicks on the confirmation email.
Well this is where devise is actually sending the confirmation instructions to the user.
Right. Oh, it is. Okay, so send confirmation is sending out the email.
I mean, that should be all right to leave that in.
Yeah, it's probably no problem.
And then I'm just picking up the user token from the user object.
Mm-hmm. And that confirmation token is added by line 7?
Yeah, well, it was previously, but yeah.
Okay.
So we'll give that a shot.
So the routing for this show method, show action, has one parameter, which is the user token. Which makes sense because that's all we really know at this point.
I'm still getting this uninitialized constant. I suppose
yeah, you've still got that reference
helper in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I just take that out.
Yeah.
Undefine method ends. So it's got that in the maybe it doesn't need this request in.
Perhaps not.
I'll take that out.
Yeah, the least code the better, right? and the sending If line 6, do you need that? Do we?
Which one was that?
Line 6.
Well, I did before.
You did. Okay. So that
factory not registered user applicant. So it's not finding this user applicant factory.
really?
Oh,
Did you save your
oh
user factory there? It looks like
no,
it's
I
got
didn't. Yeah, it's a small.
a small little dot there.
Yeah.
That happens.
Mm. Saying uninitialized user applicant name error.
So from my view, I see on the right users.rb, it's still got a filled in little circle there, which indicates maybe it hasn't been saved. But maybe my view is not being refreshed.
No, it has been saved.
It has been saved. Okay, my view must be old. I can only see confirmations something RB. I can't see your test results.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is just a duplicate file that's not saved. Doesn't really matter. That one.
So are you still sharing your screen? Because I can't. Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay, now it changed. And users.rb is saved.
Now getting uninitialized constant user applicant name error.
Can we look at users.rb again? Did we? Is there something wrong with that code? Factory user applicant. Okay, this.
It's got a user underscore applicant.
Yeah.
So why is it?
Was this complaining about?
Oh, yeah, the uninitialized constant user applicant name error.
Can you show me
So
the error there?
Yeah. Have to support inflector methods RB261 and constant.
I can't see the error. I'm looking at confirmations controller RB. Seems to be delayed updates on my side to see the screens. Got some latency issues or something going on here.
Yeah. Might be a bit big. Can you see the error now?
I'm still just looking at confirmations controller spec.rb.
Oh, it's slow to refresh, isn't it?
I guess it is. Yeah, very slow.
No.
Oh, shoot.
I just hit F5 and drop down then.
Yeah. Just to complete the whole mess, huh?
Let me share again.
Okay.
Any better?
I can't see your screen yet. So, no. Oh, it looks like it, let me see. Yep. I can see it now. So it's, where's it? Factory runner, blah, blah, blah. So on your spec file, you're including Rails helper, right?
Yes.
Okay, and
Let's get back to that. Require Rails helper.
okay, so it's looking for a model, a Rails model user applicant. So we're creating the factory a little bit incorrectly. So let me look at an example of. Oh yeah. So what we need to do, if you open an example like the factory for agency people.rb, we actually have to specify the class it needs to look for. For instance, line 9 is creating an agency admin, but it says class agency person.
Oh, okay.
So we need the class clause for that
Leave
applicant.
that in there.
Yeah, otherwise it's defaulting to, it's the name of the factory and it's trying to convert that to a model and it's looking for that model and it can't find it. Well, there is no such user applicant model.
So
User
we'll make that class user applicant.
No, it would just be user.
Just
Because,
user.
yeah. It has to be capitalized?
Otherwise,
Yeah. Because it's a Rails model. Yeah.
class users.
Yep. Just user. Because it's looking for, yeah, looking for model, the class, yeah. No, try that.
Why
You can find that.
Factory user of a class.
Say that again?
The factory user.
No, because it defaults to converting user into camel case and then looking for that model and it finds a user model. So we don't have to specify class there. It's just when we give the factory a different name than the actual class that we have to tell it what class to actually map that to.
Right. So if we go back to running this again. Oh, no, we need to change.
Nope, you're good there.
Our aspect is that still good?
Yep.
User applicant?
Yep, we're just giving it the name of the factory at that point. And it's
all right, let's run it.
okay. Looks like maybe we got past that one error.
What's it? A raised record invalid, validation failed, email has already been taken, password can't be blank. Okay, so we're getting some validation errors.
Yeah, so we certainly can't validate. So when we call that factory, it tries to create a user instance, and then it tries to validate the instance against the user model. So somehow we have to turn off validation for the factory. How do we do that?
When you register, you have to provide a password, and it has to be verified. So maybe we should have the password and password verification in there.
Is that how it works? So for a job seeker,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, for a job seeker. So I was thinking for an agency person where we delay the password entry until the actual person who's been invited comes back, because the agency admin should be assigned the password. Yeah, you're right. So
we didn't need these two in there.
Yep, I agree.
We might still run into trouble with our email. But I'll run it anyway.
Do you I would suggest before you run it, okay, we'll let that go. What's going on there?
Yeah, email has already been taken.
So why don't you do rake db test prepare?
On the command line.
That tells me that there's data in the test database.
Rake db.
db colon test colon prepare. That should clear out the database. Reload the schema. It does a lot of stuff, but before you run again, I'd suggest just hitting, just hold the enter key down a few times to get some blank white space in there, because then it's easier to scroll up and see where the next test began.
Yeah,
I do that because sometimes you get so much, it's hard to figure out, okay, when did that step, that test end, and when the new one begins. So you got further.
No.
At least I tried to run it. Actually not found. What does it say? Path.
Could not find device mapping for path. So you are testing a device controller bypassing the router, so you can explicitly tell the device which mapping to use. So that was what I was trying to do before.
Yes, maybe you put that back in. Did you take that out, that statement?
I did, but then something couldn't find the end method, and
right.
Or maybe I missed the spec helper or something. And
yeah, it's a process of step by step. This is new territory for us.
Put it back in again and see how we go.
Yeah, sure. At least it's got a helpful suggestion there, hopefully.
Yeah.
The guys who wrote Devise they did a great job with that, Jim. Amazing.
Yeah, I'd say.
Are you running it again? I can't see any changes happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like I'm getting a lag again.
Well, it's find method end from your class.
I can't see the error. The screen's not updating for me yet.
It's only because when I look at my shared screen, one that you should be seeing, it's the same as the one I'm seeing.
I just see the prior example run where it says you need we have a problem with your routing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not changing at all.
Um,
Let me try to, maybe on my side, if I try to update, refresh the screen.
well, I'll unshare and then share again.
Okay. Okay, now I can see something. Okay. Undefined method env for null class. Hmm. And so env is referencing that statement that you put in there. Where is it? Add request.env.
Well, at request. This is at request. That's that needs to be instantiated, doesn't it? Whatever it is.
It would be, yeah. So how are we using this devise mapping in other tests? Let me just see if I can find it elsewhere in our code. Let's see, agency admin controller for each add request. So here's what I don't understand. So it looks to me like when we declare a test in our spec to be of type controller, that it sets up some instance variables, including the at request by default. Because we're using that same statement that you've got elsewhere, like in agency admin controller. And we are not, let me just see if I'm missing something here. We're not actually setting that instance variable anywhere. So it's being brought in with our spec when we declare this test as a controller test. So it sets up the environment for a controller, including the at request instance var. So why is that not working for us? You've got this declared as a controller type test. Yeah, that seems to be okay. And it says it's nil, right? It says. Let me see how else, if there's another instance I can find of how we're using that that might help us here. So, okay, well, here's a good one to look at, which is people invitations controller. That's another basically devise, and test involving devise. Where we're doing this particular statement is in a before each. You could try to do that.
So put this into a
yeah, put a before. Each is a symbol. So I would suggest before left parens and then colon each. Oh no, left parentheses. I would just make it a normal method call with arguments within, and then each is a symbol, so you need a colon in front of that. And of course, you can't have a space between before and the parentheses, if you. Otherwise, Ruby will complain vociferously. And then you need a do statement because it does take a block.
Yeah.
And then that one statement below included, and then you're
and
yeah. We can give that a shot. Perhaps, yeah.
Ah,
At least I can.
well, it's into the controller now.
Oh, you got that far? Didn't blow up?
Yes. So I failed to render template login.
What did it say? Failed to render template login?
Login path. Maybe I should try it on my own from now on, just see if I can, now that I've got this far, well, you got me this far, see if I can finish it off.
Yeah, sure. So the process is, though, once we come back from the show method, that we do render the login path for the new applicant. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
It looks like you're getting through. I wonder which
Okay.
path in the logic you went through lines 18 and 19. Is that correct, do you think? Through this method to get to where we were?
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. So you probably obviously need tests for the other else clause as well, but I think you went through that successfully.
Yeah. So I think it might have broken the back of this, which is
yeah. That request instance var, I guess, is only available before the actual, in reference before the actual test. But yeah. So maybe it can't actually be within an actual test, an it clause, if you will. Your test, but can we go back to your test again? I would suggest after line 7, you probably you got two things you want to test. So after line 7, you introduce an it clause, which is it validates registration and redirects to login.
you put that in.
Yeah, you can
quotes, don't you?
put it in later, and then the other one, yeah, go ahead.
You said again, it
Validates new user and redirects to login. Actually, even better, you could say validates new job seeker. Be more explicit about what you're testing. And of course, you'll need a do, because that takes a block, of course, and then everything underneath that would be, within that block.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You already had a net clause. No, never mind. You already had a net clause.
Oh, we need that one.
So there's two conditions that you want to test, of course. You're testing the first one. The second one is, what do we do on the second one? We have somebody who's clicked on the link already.
Yeah, that's right. So really just repeated. So the same one, may click on it again.
Yeah.
The first time it should render the the login template and show the flash message that you are confirmed or words to that effect. And the next time it does that again. Same again.
So
it will go through the else clause.
So the devise method says, I've already seen this user. They've already been confirmed. This email's already been confirmed.
Yeah, and that's overwritten.
And sets an error. And then we look at, when we come back from super, we say, did super set an error saying we've already seen this email?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, the output is the same. You just do the test twice, and the fact that you get the same message means the test passes.
Well, the output on the second case though was not the same, right? We don't.
No,
Do
it is
we
the same.
still read? We still go to login. Is that correct?
Yeah, looks just the same. You can
Looks
do it
just
as
the same,
many.
except there's a flash message at the top.
Oh, it's the same message. It's the first time. You don't see any difference.
Well, the first time we shouldn't see a message that says at the top in red that says your email's already been confirmed.
Oh, what I'm saying is that when you actually use the application, you never see that message.
You don't, huh?
No,
You
don't.
never see
You
the
just
article.
see. No, you just see that you are confirmed. Doesn't matter how many times you do it.
Well, that's interesting.
Well, that's the way it's meant to work.
Well, it's meant to show an error at the top, right?
Oh, well, that's the default behavior for device, but we're overriding that.
Yeah, you're right. So we're clearing that. You're right, and we're just putting an innocuous message. Your email's been confirmed. I got you. Yeah. I was misreading that. Boy, it's been a long time since I looked at that. Yep,
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. So it's going to be.
So if I get this to work and repeat it, and it still works, then test is passed.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
I might just add another expect in there to check that the flash message is actually displayed.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. So for your second one, you're going to have to do basically what you're doing, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then essentially right after that, in the same test, call show again with the same confirmation token.
Yeah.
And like you said, visually, the user sees the same thing, but you're testing the second clause in that controller method. Yeah. Yeah, I'd forgotten that we actually just innocuously remove the error and say, hey, you're in there. As opposed to, hey, stop clicking on that confirmation like you don't need to anymore.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're looking like you're pretty good shape in terms of going forward.
Yeah, so you get there.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for your help.
Oh, sure. Yeah. It was
That really solved
interesting.
the problem for me. It was.
Yeah, there's a lot of magic going, especially with devise, a lot of interaction. So it's always tough to kind of divine exactly how to navigate through that stuff. But I think you're in a good place now.
I think that's one of the things that people say about Rails is that there is a lot of magic going on. Yeah.
And if you can harness it, it's great. If you're struggling to figure out how to test it, for instance, it can be a challenge.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Sounds good, Paul.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Patrick.
Oh, thank you. We'll talk maybe tomorrow, later in the week, or whatever.
Yeah. You have a good day.
All right, you too. Take care. Bye now.
Bye.